If I could go back 20 years and change what I've done as a parent and do things differently, I absolutely would. There are so many things that we do, so many things that we focus on that really don't matter in the end. And that's what I wanted to share today. The top 10 things that I would do differently if I could do it all over again. Number one is to not worry about what all the other parents are doing. I didn't put a whole lot of emphasis on, competing with other parents. I feel like it was the opposite, that everyone kind of begrudged me for all the things that I did do for my kids and their friends. Everyone's in a different position. People are in different financial positions. People have different values. They have different expectations for their kids, and they have different capabilities. So there's no point in wasting your time and energy trying to keep up with other people and what they're doing. You've taken so many days and so many months to plan a beautifully extravagant birthday party or event for your kids, and all of the parents hate you. That's my second point, is to not worry about doing so many different things for everybody else's kids. If you want to have a birthday party, that's perfectly fine. Have your extravagant birthday party, but you don't need to invite the whole class. And this business of, well, everybody gets invited. No, they don't all have to be invited, because the more people that you have coming into your house, the more they're going to criticize, judge, snoop around, and it's just going to cause problems. And I did a video about this also that I did last year during the holiday season. So you'll see the video has my Christmas decor, but I'll share it here of why you shouldn't invite people into your home. It's very important not to worry so much about hosting all of these events. I know there's this whole social media, everyone's on Instagram sharing all of their big events and their parties and their, you know, unveilings. The more you keep private, the better off you're going to be. And by hosting all of these events and having all these kids over to your home, it does nothing but cause problems, because parents get jealous. They maybe feel threatened. They maybe feel inadequate. I don't know, but I know that I have experienced this myself. Number three is that you do not need to be friends with all of your kids' friends. And that goes for when they're toddlers, preschoolers, junior school, high school, and adults. The kids have their own relationships. You have your own adult relationships. You don't need to be friends with all of their friends. Being extra friendly to the kids, the parents don't like it. Now, you may be lucky where you've got that really good friend who doesn't mind, they don't feel threatened, but for the most part, it's eventually going to cause issues if you're too friendly with your kids' friends. Your kids grow up to be young adults, and then you start to panic and you look and you think, wow, did I do enough? And one of the things that I wish is that I would have spent more one-on-one time with the kids. I mean, I did do a lot of things. Now I have a son and a daughter. I'll share some photos here of them. This is Maximus and Arabella. And I did have separate things for each kid. My son, we loved Star Wars, Jurassic. And then my daughter was all things girly, it was Barbie, and then it was all princesses. And then just now, like she's a young adult, it's coffee and dessert. And so we did do things together separately, but I still wish we would have done a lot more. When my kids were growing up, they were involved in so many activities. My son played soccer from the time he was 4. And by the time he was 17, when he finally quit, he was playing and practicing 6 times a week. Our daughter, she tried everything. She tried dance. She was in competitive swimming. She did ballet. She did gymnastics. She tried soccer. They were always doing something. And I mean, that's great. That does serve a purpose. But if I could go back, I would not have my kids involved in so many extracurricular activities. Doing those activities, yes, they build a lot of skills, they make friends, but it also takes them away from the family unit. So we were always running here, there, and everywhere. One kid was one way, one kid was the other way. And it just meant that there was less time where the 4 of us were together as a family, sitting down having dinner, which is one of the things that I always made a priority, making sure that we always had family dinners together. Let's stop this feeling that kids need to be perfect. And if I could go back, that's number 6, is that it's okay for them not to be perfect. It's okay for them to go out in the mud and get their pants dirty. It's okay that they didn't get 100% on their test. It's okay that they didn't, play their sport to perfection. We've set the standards so high and the bar so high with kids nowadays, and we've forgotten to let them just be kids. Number 7 is that I wish I would have asked more questions. Again, this kind of all ties into, your kids being really busy with activities and, a lot of school expectations, is that there's not a lot of time for heartfelt conversations. You just get so busy, you're trying to work, you're trying to make dinner, you're trying to run them all over the place. And you kind of forget sometimes to have actual conversations and ask them about their life and about how their day was. And then once your kids get to be teenagers, they communicate even less. And it's really hard to get information out of them. At least that's the way it is with my son, my daughter. She's always been a yapper. We have no problem talking about things. But my son, he's very quiet. He doesn't share a whole lot. So it's like pulling teeth trying to get information out of him. So just opening up those lines of communication, make sure you're talking, make sure you're asking questions, getting to know them. I'm not sure what enough time is, but I feel like we always say that we wished we had more time. So number 8 is that I wish that we had more quality time. Again, when your kids are running all over the place, they're in extracurricular activities, there's not a lot of time for family time. And what I did with my kids, yes, we had our family dinners, we had movie nights, we had game nights. And I'll share a video here that I've done talking about how to build a close relationship with your kids and ways you can incorporate different things into your day to day to build those strong connections. But I think still, I'll always wish that we had more quality time because your time with them runs out, basically. Once they become young adults, they're off, they're living their own lives, they're doing their own thing, they spend less time at home. And then eventually, the goal is to launch them out into the world. And with mine, they're 18 and 20, almost 21. I've got a little bit more time with them, but I already feel like the impact that I was able to make is very limited. And use whatever time you have to have quality time with your kids. We all want our kids to be successful. We want them to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, have great jobs, great futures. But at what cost? We put so much academic pressure on our kids. And that's point number 9. And it's to not put so much academic pressure on our kids. From junior kindergarten, we're expecting perfection from our kids. And I think just everyone has a different perspective on, what they think is success and what they want, their kids' futures to look like. But I think there's so much competition out there. We are brainwashed into thinking that our kids have to be getting 100% on all of their grades or they're going to, they're not going to get into university. They're going to be failures. So this pressure is put on them from such a young age, and it doesn't serve them well because basically it turns into, anxiety, high stress levels, and not all kids can handle that amount of pressure. Now, in speaking about post-secondary, my 10th point is that I wish that we had put a lot more money aside for post-secondary school. From the time our kids were born, we were putting money aside into registered education savings plans. But that still was not enough. Our daughter, for the first 2 years, moved out of city, went to Toronto for university. Then she came back home. She transferred to our local university. But when you are putting money aside and saving, you don't realize the cost. You do, but you don't. And then the time comes and you're in for a bit of a shocker. Parenting is the hardest job that I've ever had. I always will question, did I do enough? You look back at the time and when they were little, the future seems so far away. But now when you look at, 18 and almost 21, and I think, where did all of those years go? Are there missed opportunities? I wish I did more. I wish I spent more time. I wish. But we do the best that we can. But if I could go back, I would certainly change all of the things that I mentioned in this video. And I'm curious what your thoughts are. If you have any regrets, if you have anything to contribute, if you'd like to add a comment below, let me know what you would have done different. If you've experienced any of these 10 points and what your thoughts are. And if you've made it this far to the end, thank you so much. I hope that you've already subscribed. And if you would like to check out some of the videos that I've tagged here, I'm sharing a lot of different things about midlife, parenting, work, pre retirement, menopause, all that stuff. And I hope that if any of this stuff resonates, you will stick around. So until next time, bye for now.